Night. We're going to have Mike Barrera on in tomorrow. I'm sorry, today at 3 p.m. to talk about that matchup. So stay tuned for that one. And then, of course, we will talk to Philly's big win last night. We're going to gear up for game 2 here today. What's up, Facebook? We got YouTube. We got Twitter. We got DSM-Media in the building as well. We got TikTok in the building, too. What is going on? I hope everyone's having a great day. Please, TikTok, tap that screen away. Tap, tap, tap away. Let's get some more fans in the building. Comment sections are open here on YouTube, here on TikTok as well. So drop those comments, questions, and concerns. All right, let's get started, guys. We got a jam-packed show, so we got no room to mess around. So today's citywide special, again, we're bringing out Aguardiente Blanco del Valle. That's right, Guarito, again here, straight from Colombia, straight from Cali, Colombia. I'm just kidding. I don't know if this is Cali, but this is definitely El Valle, the state where Cali is in. And then, of course, we're going to keep it. This is very much parcero. This is very much parcero. So we have the Aguardiente from Valle de Cauca. And then we got Two Robbers seltzer, baby. That's right. That's right. Straight from Philadelphia. All right. Two Robbers. We got the ginger pineapple, one of my favorite flavors of Two Robbers. Brewery right in. Is it a brewery? Are seltzers still breweries? Distillery? I don't know. But the seltzery, I like that. The seltzery is in Fishtown, Philadelphia. So you guys could definitely check that out if you're of age. Definitely check that out. Highly recommend it. One of my favorite seltzer brands. Salute, ladies and gentlemen. Salute YouTube. Salute TikTok. Of course, you guys already know. We got to do it the right way. All right. I just motorboated TikTok live there. You're welcome. You're welcome. Salute. Está rico. Bien rico. Bien rico. All right. Let's get into today's poll of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So today's poll of the day, right now, again, as always, you guys are more than welcome to participate on my Twitter account. Follow at Parcero Philly. It's going to dive into today's main topic of discussion. So, in Philadelphia, there's a lot of narratives. A lot of narratives that go around in the city of Philadelphia, especially surrounding our sports teams in Philly. So, who creates the most narratives surrounding our Philadelphia sports? Options are the fans, the national media, the local media, or the players. Right now, leading the way with 62.5% of the votes is the national media, and in second place is the local media with 37.5%. No votes for the fans or the players. But I had to ask this question here today because this is the topic that I'm just seeing everyone bringing up and talking about, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. It does get frustrating. We get painted in a bad light, and so I'm going to talk about where this stems from. So this article, and there's many articles out there by many different writers in the Philadelphia area, excuse me, that are covering the Philadelphia Eagles. So the article that I'm going to pull up right now is from Ed Kratz, which I didn't realize Ed tweeted that much, but shit, Eddie be tweeting, you feel me? Of course, he wants to ignore what he put up here. All right, so here is the article. So Ed Kratz writes for SI.com. I mean, I think honestly, like this kind of painted the best picture. Regarding response to the fans to this story, why do you think AJ Brown said this? I wish the fans would stop trying to choose and just enjoy both of us while both of us have fun. So we talked about this yesterday during the show about the press conference about putting putting the AJ Brown fans against the Devontae Smith fans, and this whole honestly like something I've never heard of. I've definitely heard before in Philadelphia people picking one. I mean, I think as recently we had this with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, or Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. More so Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, but this doesn't typically happen. Like we're not fans of players, we're fans of the team, and if the player helps their team, that's who we're a fan of. Both AJ Brown and both Devontae Smith have helped his team. I've never really heard of fans choosing sides of whether they're team Devontae or team AJ Brown, and so that's where a lot of the discussion does come up here. You know, it's just it does seem like, and from if you heard the Ruben Frank question from yesterday with AJ Brown, you know, Ruben kind of pointed out the fans. You know, how do you feel about the fans trying to pick between you and Devontae Smith? And it's like, I mean, look, barroom talk is normal. It happens all the time. Like, dude, you always are talking with your buddies and you're debating this player or that player. What if T.O. was in this all? Like different stuff like that. We are always debating. That stuff is normal. But I never heard fans say picking AJ Brown or Devontae Smith as wide receiver number one. I think for the most part, because of the history, especially like my age group, like, dude, you look at my age group. I had Donovan McNabb as my quarterback as a kid. Fantastic quarterback at that time period. This man had to throw to Charles Johnson, James Thrash, Todd Pinkston, Greg Lewis. The list of inept wide receivers goes on. And until we saw what he was with a legitimate wide receiver like Terrell Owens. So I think Philadelphia fans 110% are appreciative of what we have here in Philadelphia. But that doesn't mean that we haven't had stories in the past. Look, I mean, earlier this year, you had ESP trying to create the narrative that Hassan Reddick should be deserve and wants more money. Like that was something that was totally created by him. The whole Trey Turner stuff. I mean, you heard Joe Giglio with all his hot takes on Trey Turner. I mean, I remember the Ben Simmons stuff throughout, leading up to 20. I'm not even talking about 2021. I'm talking about leading up to 2021. Man doesn't want to shoot. Man doesn't practice shooting. Even like the Markelle Fultz one. The Markelle Fultz one was interesting because Markelle was a kid that just gets drafted in here. And obviously the expectations were there because he was the number one overall pick, but this man was getting ripped apart and we didn't know what was going on internally. And at the end of the day, we forgot that this was a 19-year-old kid that gets selected number one overall in the NBA draft. And now he's got to be the future of this franchise, who, by the way, was ready to win at the moment. It's not like he's going into a situation where it's a rebuild and his room for error is there. With Philly, it was slim to none. And that's why he got traded so early in his career to Orlando. I'm gonna say it like this: the media has a job to not only to entertain, but to also provide the information at hand. At the end of the day, writing has turned into entertainment. Before, writing was is a place where you go get information. You need information. You go to the news. You go to your newspaper. You watch the 6 o'clock news, and you go and get the information. But today's day and age, with social media, everyone is looking to get entertained. Everyone wants that drama. Everyone wants that wow factor. What's going to be that headline that gravitates you? And that's kind of where media's at right now. So yes, when you see articles of AJ Brown fans versus Devontae Smith fans, that writer's going to put that out there. Why? Because he's got to pay the bills. And it's just the reality of media in 2023. Is that right or wrong? That's up for debate, but that's the reality of the situation. I think for sure this is a type of story that they're reaching for, but I think that the reality of the situation is that this is unfortunate what we have right now. Now, you guys have the absolute right not to listen to it. And oh, by the way, there are plenty, and I'm talking a plethora of different media outlets that provide you what you want. If you want hot take culture, there's an outlet for it. If you want true, brutal honesty, there's an outlet for that. I myself like to mix reality with entertainment, but I don't do the hot take. Anytime you hear me speak, it's from my genuine, honest opinion. If it seems as a hot take, that's your perception, but I want to speak honestly. And also, I like to have fun. Like, there's no harm in that. That's what I do. And if you like that, that's why you're here. But if you don't like that, then there's other places for you to go. But that's just where media is here today. Now, speaking of media, today is a big day here for the NFL and for these players. It is the cut down day. In about an hour and 4 minutes Eastern time, these NFL rosters will have to be cut down to 53 men. I'm sorry. So we will see what happens here at 4 p.m. What we'll have. So far, we do have some movement. Britton Covey, gone. Devin Allen, gone. Greg Ward, gone. Aaron Sipas, gone. Who else am I missing here? Let me grab. I do because we just in the midst of recording, we had some more cuts as well. But those were the main ones so far. Oh, Trey Sermon, before I hopped on, gone. Josiah Scott, gone. Obviously, these moves does not mean that these guys are gone for good. You always see guys getting cut and the teams kind of testing the waters out there and seeing what's available. And then, there are instances where those guys come back. Practice squad option is another option as well. So that definitely are things you could see as well. But for right now, those are some of I don't see anything new. Brady Russell, who was the 5th or 6th tight end, he got cut about an hour ago. This is funny. I think he's got a YouTube channel. I haven't really seen his stuff, but JC Sports goes, breaking news: the same fans who are trying to split our receivers apart are the same fans that will never root for Jalen Hurts regardless of the success. That's funny. Yeah, dude. You know what? Throw the shade at the media, man. I'm all for it, man. It's hilarious. Oh my God. All right. Whatever. All right. I honestly do not see any more news. So those are some of the cuts that we do have right now. The Josiah Scott one does make sense. Isaiah Rodgers, if you saw yesterday, he did get picked up here by the Birds. He's a guy who was suspended last year, gambling implications. So it's not really too bright here. But obviously, Howie, Nick, and the front office did their due diligence, did their research, and they're going to bring this guy who, by the way, man's got a lot of. I think it was a starting cornerback for the Colts before all the shenanigans. So you bring him in here on you're on a short lease, my friend. You want a job? Come in. He is suspended still, from my understanding. But this is so like Eagles, like under Laurie. How many times have you seen guys with bad character? Not so much like Chip Kelly and the beginning part of Doug Peterson, but in the latter part, testing out guys with character issues, and it works out. And the reason why you can do that is because you built a culture. Now, I don't know where his head's at. Obviously, gambling with players is a new thing. You didn't really hear about this 5-10 years ago. Now it's becoming more of a thing because of all the gambling laws that are becoming more accessible to everybody. But it is interesting to say the least. It is interesting to say the least. Again, Howie's like 3 steps ahead while everyone's still behind. All right. So that is just how Howie Roseman's rolling. So if we do get and I need your guys' help. And TikTok, don't be sleeping on me fucking today. All right. Wake the fuck up. You up? If there's any news, please drop it in the comment sections. In about a couple minutes, we're gonna start our union talk here. We're gonna have Mike Barrera here in just a minute here. What we're going to come in, so we're going to talk about that. But Any news with the birds, with the roster cuts, please drop it in the comment sections. I will look at it. We just went over everything up to date. Everything's up to date. Josiah Scott gone. What do we say? Devin Allen, Britton Covey, Trey Sermon, Greg Ward, all cut. So if you guys see any more happening, we still have an hour. We have an exact hour here before we get to the end of it. So let me know in the comments section. What's going on, guys? Real quick, just want to say hello here. What's going on, TikTok? I appreciate it. TikTok. Do me solid. Smash that screen away. I appreciate it. I just saw McGlynn Mania. I love it. What's up, Blake? Blake Marconi. Yeah, what's up, dude? Let's go, Phils. That's right. Let's go, Phils. Let's go, Phils. By the way, I don't know, guys. 6:05, 6:40 first pitch. I think we might get a game in. Doesn't look too promising. We haven't had any rain, and obviously I've been stuck inside all day because of work. But hey, we're good there. McGlynn Media, real quick. What did you say here? And then we'll get to the back. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that right now, McGlynn Media. We're gonna talk about Toronto in just a second here. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. What's going on? Let's go. We got BC Capron. What's going on, brother? Go Phils. Let's go, Phils. All right. Speaking of which, let's get into our uni talk here. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we have on in here Mr. Mike Barrera to help us preview tomorrow's matchup in Union Talk. Mike, what's going on, brother? What's happening, man?
Hey, man. How you doing? Appreciate you having me on.
Dude, I appreciate you coming in here. Thank you so much for your debut here on Citywide Special as well, my friend. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to get started. A lot to talk about. The union been really busy this past week and a half, so it's kind of got a lot of content to put out there.
Absolutely, man. You guys over across the picture have been killing it as well. Make sure you guys are checking them out here as Jose is checking on it. What's up, Jose? What's going on, brother? So real quick, so obviously big win on Saturday. It was Union style soccer. They dominated, man. So going forward, obviously, a lot of eyes on the Union, a lot of strict eyes here on the Union, especially from this fan base. What can we expect from this team going forward as we near the end of this regular season?
I mean, we talked about last night on Across the Pitch. You don't want to overlook Toronto, right? It's easy to overlook a team that's at the bottom of the table. They're kind of going through some shambles with coaching changes, all that kind of stuff. But you don't want to look at Red Bull and completely gloss over the Toronto match because it's a game you should win. It's a game you should walk away with 3 points, and it's a game where you should climb the table, especially with Cincinnati going to Atlanta. There's a very good chance you close that gap with the supporter shield, and then in a couple weeks they come to us on the 16th to play. I mean, that could have a massive implication for the Shield race. So it's weird to say it's a must win, but to me, it's a must win.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, right now, if you want to, we talked about it yesterday here. If you want to compete for that, you got to take care of business in the regular season. And unfortunately, you're going to have to keep ground with Cincinnati. I mean, you saw they won, you won as well. It's still a 9-point gap here, so it's important for us to keep ground. But I want to look at this Toronto team real quick before we look at us here. It's obviously interesting because they've been a mess. They've been a mess for a couple seasons now, right? So Bob Bradley gone. John Herdman now comes in, who is coming over from the Canadian national team. So I mean, for you personally, what can you say from your eyes here down in Philly about John Herdman?
I mean, you have to wonder how much the team is going to get behind him, right? And this isn't just for him in general; it's for any new coach that steps in as an interim coach. Or the team going to get behind him? Is he going to come in with new tactics or some sort of just different energy to the clubhouse or the locker room that's going to spice things up? So it's really one of those games where you could see Toronto come out just blazing hot and they're ready to prove themselves and make sure they can all keep that starting position, or they're going to be whatever. Our season's crap anyway. This coach is brand new. It's a nobody. We're going to just kind of don't worry about it, that mentality. So it's really comes down to the players, the leadership in the locker room, and how they're going to approach the game. It's certainly at least a good direction for Toronto. I mean, they can't get much worse, as we've kind of highlighted. So, golf clap for them for trying something different. But if I'm the Union, I should definitely be on my toes tomorrow.
It's interesting because it feels like Toronto is just trying to reimagine what they did in the 2010s, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Bradley and Altidore are this generation's Bernadeschi and Insigne. They went out, they splashed, they got the key role players, and it just hasn't worked out. And dude, you need a complete team. And I look at this Toronto team, there's clear holes despite their wings having, all generational Italian players there. So and obviously CJ Spong is in the center there. But I'm intrigued by Herdman, because obviously, look, with Canada, he did really well with the women's. He did really well with the men's. Obviously, the best year they ever had last year,
Yeah.
especially in Concacaf play. And now he's got to come into Toronto. He has a reputation setting culture, and that's really what Toronto needs. But Bob Bradley's also done that before. Like he said, like, I mean, look what the culture he created in LA, and
Yeah.
that didn't work. So I'm curious if John can get this turned around here, man.
I mean, sometimes you bring in pieces like I mean, if you want to go back way back to the dream team of the Eagles, right? You had all the right pieces in place, right? They were all there. It looked like it was going to be a great roster, and it just didn't work out. So there are times where you have good quality pieces, they just don't mesh together. And that I mean, just look at Carranza from Miami, right? He's obviously a good quality player. It didn't work out in that culture, that environment. He had injuries, of course, too. So maybe this is a step in the right direction. Which I mean, like you said, they have the talent that's there. It's just a matter of now growing from that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And of course, Jose, always getting our back here. First day technically in charge, so a bit of a break in lead. I did not see anything in the Canadian reports there, so I appreciate you, Jose. That's Jose. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
So let's look at real quick at our squad here. First off, man, dude, can we give a big congratulations to Jesus, brother?
I
Like,
know. Bueno, look at him
so
go.
happy, man. I'm so happy for him, dude. And I'm really proud of Venezuela. Like, as a Colombian national fan, I get so pissed off because in Colombia we have this stigmatism still, like in 2023, towards the MLS, right? And here's Venezuela. They don't care if you are playing consistent minutes, you're doing well. They will call you up,
Yeah.
and I
They
really
have
do
like eight
appreciate that.
players, right? It's eight, six players, something like that.
Jose Martin, I think Junior Savarino is there in there as well. I'll have to
Hmm.
look at the entire list, but dude, they don't mind that, and I really do appreciate that, man. Dude, Jesus, to me, I don't know about you, but the reason why I'm so happy with Jesus' play, besides the obvious factor, is that my big question mark heading into this season was, dude, what's life after Ali? It's something that you needed to think about.
Yeah.
And so Jesus to me has solidified that role there. And I think going forward, I mean that's your shuttle midfielder.
Well, you had a lot of questions about also who else on this roster could fill in that role. It wasn't even just Bueno. Was it would McGlynn do that? Would they change the formation? Would Quinn Sullivan be there? Because a lot of people, like myself, argue that Quinn Sullivan isn't as much of a striker as much as he is a midfielder. Which in that game that we saw against DC, I actually was saying to Jose and Dave, like I wanted to see Quinn on that right side of the diamond a bit rather than um, oh my God, this it's escaping right now. Liam Flock in the six.
Right.
So I wanted to see some shifting around. So I'm definitely excited to see that not only are the fans supporting Bueno, and not only is Bueno, obviously proven himself, but you see the curtain is behind him now. He's like Bueno's earned the starting role. He's beginning to give Ali less minutes right now. Obviously, he's still kind of dealing with the health issue, but you can kind of see the changing of the guard there a bit in front of you as the season's progressing. So I'm very happy for Bueno, and just tip the hat to the Union youth development. Right? Think about it. This kid came in with Davo a couple years ago. Has been he's been virtually a nobody on the Union first team, and now suddenly he's just a household name. So credit to the youth development and him for sticking it out. And it's really just we're all proud of Bueno. I know Kyle Wood is proud of Bueno for sure. That's his
Yeah,
boy.
man. Yeah, man. Matthias, I was in Matthias Davo, dude. What a name, dude. What a
Yeah.
what a story that was, man. The
Oh my
the
gosh.
mystery of Davo, man. Why I never got missed, but hey, it is what it is, man. You nailed it on the head, and I love having Ali coming off as a super sub. I mean, you saw kind of the spark of energy even brought even in that Miami match that we're trying to forget early here
Yeah.
in Philadelphia. But it is something really fun to watch, man. And like you kind of saw with having all four at 100% in the midfield. So all four in that diamond. So you're talking Brujo. Now looks like McGlynn is taking that left shuttler. Bueno and Gazak. Dude, it makes everything else so much simple. And I love the three-back set. I think in the attack, though, however, because of how the Union like to play, I think the diamond fits them much, much better. But I think that all has to do with now you got that engine running again in that midfield. It doesn't matter who you
Well,
play against,
well,
man.
also when you have Bueno on the right hand side, you can kind of allow Jose Martinez to go up the right side of the field more
Yeah,
often
man.
because Bueno can come into the six. You're not going to have Bedoya come into the six to replace him,
No.
so it's really interesting to see how this team will grow because I think Martinez does get trapped sometimes at the bottom of that diamond when he is so dangerous up top, as we've seen him multiple times already throughout his career. So it's exciting to see the growth of the diamond and the changing of the guard, because also to your point with the three in the back, Damian Lowe, as good as he's been this year, recently has not been playing well. So now you wonder, it's like, I think Curtin really liked that three in the back set for a little bit, but now he's seeing the way things have developed. He's like, let's get back to the diamond. Bueno's playing well. Martinez is playing well. Let's kind of go back to what we know. And it seems, as of right now, to be working okay.
Even Jim's growing, man. Dude, I mean, I mean, Jim as the years have gone on, like he's always been married to one system, but like this year, he has been even like you've heard him talk about like the three in the back. It's not the biggest fan, but at the time, it's what we needed.
Yeah.
So I mean, kudos to Jim, man. He's growing out of it too, man.
Yeah. And listen, he did call out Michael Uwa a couple weeks ago, right? He says like he wasn't
Yeah.
that good, and
Yep.
you didn't really typically see Curtin ever call out a player. I mean, I can't
Right.
remember the last time he's ever said anything verbally about anybody negatively, but it was just enough to seems to get Michael Uwa started back up again, right? He scored 2 consecutive games, so even that, as in terms of a managerial perspective, maybe that's some growth for Curtin. He knows the right way to push certain buttons, and now if Michael Uwa goes on a run, you're going to look back on that and say, "Hey, was Curtin calling him out a bit? Maybe the best thing for his season."
Well, speaking of Ua, because last time Ua faced off against Toronto, there was a little bit of a hat trick going on. So
I
maybe we get
noticed.
that. Maybe we get that luck here again. So, Mike, when I look at this matchup here, now you nailed it on the head in the beginning.
Mhm.
Never, ever, ever, ever do you look ahead. But when I look at this matchup here, what I see, Toronto's back line. I mean, I we should be able to tear that bad boy up. You feel me?
Agreed.
But the attack, although you got the names, I'm not really worried about them with what we have in our back line. And if they continue to play at an inspired rate, then, dude, I'm really not concerned about them whatsoever. I mean, even our old friend, Teacher Sapong, listen, solid number 9, does it all. But, I mean, I really like our chances with that, man. So this matchup, like, it just feels like it is, again, in the on the side of the union here, man.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Glesnes' performance against Benteke and the DC United forwards. I thought he played great. I thought Nathan Harriel also had a pretty solid performance. So even though the defense as a whole may not have been 100% on point the entire DC United match, I thought individually they played pretty solid on that right side in particular. But if you look at the forwards, I know Baribo's still basically a work in progress. Jim Curtin mentioned that today in the press conference. He's essentially in preseason form. You have to get there. Carranza can really only play about 60 to 70 minutes because of his hamstring, and they're not going to blow him out, especially with obviously a lot of the season left to go. So you wonder, is Ua, after playing 89 minutes, going to get another full 70, 80 minutes? Or does Curtin go more conservative and go Donovan and Quinn Sullivan up top and try to just make it work with them? And that's what concerns me, is that he gets too much of a turnover on the roster and you don't have the firepower to keep up with Toronto. So unfortunately, they could be a 1-1 draw or 0-0 draw in that regard. But I mean, listen, you kind of have to play at least Uwan Carranza 60 minutes. I would say at least.
Dude, as we always say, man, in this league, there's never a guarantee, but for
No,
sure, the matchup on paper does look very favorable for the Philadelphia Union. That is important to mention because look, the Red Bull typically around this time of year they do turn it up.
hmm
They are fighting for playoffs as well, and as we all know, Miami is they're chasing like crazy right now, and what I think they're still in last place even after that one, but
yeah.
it should be definitely interesting. So diamond midfield again for this one. What
I
do we
think
say?
so. I don't think you try to get too cute with this. I mean, I know we've seen like the Christmas tree back in the day, and we had that weird Atlanta. Remember that formation we had at Atlanta where Nathan Harrell was on the left hand side and Leon Flock. You can't get too cute out there, Jim. Just keep it simple. Go diamond. If you make some rotations, so be it. But you have to keep it with what you know, because every time he changes it too much, like you saw against Miami, kind of shit hits the fan.
That's literally what it
Literally,
is,
yeah.
man.
um,
So obviously Blake and goal.
yep.
We obviously Wagner, Glasses Elliott,
I would go Olivier on the right hand side because I
Livy on the
think
right hand. Okay.
I think we've seen over time that Nathan typically plays against Red Bull. I think I can probably think of the last 4 or 5 matchups in general. Harriel has played against Red Bull. So I'm going to say Olivier plays on the right. Now, he also has international call duty to Cameroon. I don't
Yes.
know how much of that goes into it. as well. I don't know if they're going to
Okay.
want to keep him off because of that. I don't know the
Okay.
details of that. I assume Flock is going to play the six, and I don't know how you feel about that in the six, but he
I
probably
mean,
will.
now he is the backup again, only because Jesus has emerged as a starting shuttler.
Yeah,
Where Jesus to me won the backup job, but now he's won an actual starting job. But yeah, no, and what's interesting too is that Oda, who a lot of people were hoping would get some minutes this year, he gets loaned off a couple weeks ago. So it's interesting. I'm curious where this team goes in the offseason. I haven't really taken a deep dive into our U2, but for sure, the Jim, I'm sorry, not Jim, Ernst has done a good job of supplementing the midfield, especially with CDM. So we'll see what they do this up. And we still have, I guess we technically do have Andres Pereira, but you know,
yeah.
and I guess Odala too.
Well, I wish we could have kept O'Donnell. I know we have that the kid who played on the U2. I always forget how to pronounce his name. He just had his first start on the U2. He's a center back that we have. I don't know if he gets
Oh,
any minutes.
Luenyu, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if he comes in for Elliott because we don't know
Okay.
if we don't know if Lowe's going to be back on
Mm,
tomorrow. I don't know. He was not there on Saturday, and some people on social media had hinted that there was a family issue. So
okay.
is Lowe going to play for us on Wednesday? I would like to see at least Elliott take a break, just so both center backs aren't being driven into the ground because we've already played 38 games this year, man. It's a lot of soccer. It's only August, September, basically.
Dude, it is pretty nuts here, man. And
Yeah.
two forwards, you think it's gonna be Quinn and
It's probably gonna
Donovan?
it's probably gonna be yeah, it's probably gonna be Ua and maybe Donovan, maybe Sullivan or Carranza comes in as a sub late in the second half just to kind of get his minutes in.
Okay,
But the Carranza hamstring worries me the most
for
bec-
sure.
because you don't want if you had to pick between one, I'd say you're more tied to Carranza than you are Ua in terms of production. So I think if you have to keep either of them healthy, I think Julian's a priority of the two, and maybe give Ua some extra time and I don't know, see how much fitness he really has on those legs because we never see him past 60 minutes anyway.
That's true, man. Damien is pictured getting on a plane from our boy Jose. Okay,
Okay,
okay.
there you go.
What's up, Jason? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's so what was up with Chris Bro Donovan? I saw you post that video, man, at the
You like
U2.
that? Yeah.
Dude,
So it looks like the player that hit him looks like they kind of undercut him when he went up for a header. So I get it. I don't think it was 100% intentional, but to
I
see
like that though.
Donovan get up and just say, screw you, buddy, I'm gonna knock you to the ground. I was like, okay, okay, Chris, like, damn, you got some fight into you. I know somebody was mentioning he's a Drexel Dragon. He's got some fire in his belly. I was like, you're damn right he does.
Dude, that was freaking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jose clarify. So Damon is on the plane to Toronto, so he's with the club right now. So we'll see if he what his status will be for game time tomorrow night, man. Final score prediction, Mike?
I'm gonna go 2-0 Union. I do now that I hear Lowe's on the plane, I do think he starts. And you know what?
Okay.
I think if there's ever a game to get your mind off Miami and the recent performance he had, I think against Toronto would be the best opportunity to do it. So let him go out there, let him start 2-0 Union. I'm gonna go Ua and Gazdag with goals because they're both gonna probably play a significant
Yeah.
amount of time. And
What
let's
better confidence building than shutting down Bernadeschi and Insigne, man. I'm in on that.
well listen, the Golden Boot race is still up for grabs. So Gazdag and Carranza are gonna want to start catching up. So there's a
That's
lot on the
right.
line. There's a lot on the line tomorrow. I'm telling you.
That's right, man. Where you gonna watch the match tomorrow, bro?
Probably just from home. Yeah, keep it
Nice.
simple. And then Sunday I'll be there at Super. Are you gonna go Sunday to the game?
I'm not sure yet. We're still up in the air. But for sure tomorrow it is Wednesday night watch along. I don't want to announce it yet, but tomorrow we'll be live for that stream. So make sure
Awesome.
if you guys are not watching, if you're not in Toronto as well, I mean that's a good away day.
Yeah.
Definitely
A lot of
check out the live stream.
a lot of people are going too. I know a handful of people that are going north.
That's sick.
So
Yeah, get there before it gets really cold, man.
yeah,
But
right.
Mike, dude, we really appreciate you taking the time, man. Just real quick, where can people find Across the Pitch, man?
Of course, 8:45 p.m. every single Monday night at the AAT Sports Network. That's AAT Sports _. We go live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it. Comments only on Facebook and YouTube. My handle's Embraer1323, and then Jose and Dave, Jose R Nunez 91, Dave GC Miller, also on Twitter. So you can
That's
catch us
what's
all
up,
there,
man.
man. Yeah.
Mike, we'll catch you soon, man. Enjoy the
All right,
match
man. I
tomorrow, bro.
appreciate you having me on, buddy.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Barrera from Across the Pitch, man, giving us the insight there. Make sure you guys do check those guys out. They're doing a really good job of talking, covering Philadelphia Union. And of course, all across All About the Birds does talk a lot of Philly sports as well. I don't want to ignore these comments when you guys had them drop in here, so I really do appreciate you guys checking in. Jason checking in here as well on TikTok. I appreciate that. Yes, McGlynn Mania. So Carranza still has the same injury. He's just nursing it right now, so his minutes are limited. So just keep an eye out for that. But yeah, he's on limitations. That's all. But he is playing. If I'm not mistaken, in the Miami Leagues Cup match, he was in the 18, but he was definitely working out on the sideline. I'd have to look back at that game. But yeah, just keep an eye out for the limitations of Carranza. Insigne walked out of practice because coach split his reps with a 20-year. That's a day? Jose, you got, I don't know if Jose's still if Jose's still here, is that true? Insigne walked out of practice today? I didn't even hear that. I mean, listen, a lot of pressure and a lot of eyes are on Insigne and Bernadeschi. Those guys spend a lot of money. Oh, August 25th. Insigne in a bit of an argument with Toronto FC interim manager Terry Dunfield on Thursday, storming off the pitch. Not the first session he's walked off in anger. Jeez Louise, man. So this was before their match against Columbus, and he started against Columbus. Dude, that's just terrible, man. Oh, okay. Dude, that's not a good look. That is not a good look whatsoever. But I mean, that's the key here for Toronto. And if you're Toronto, now you have John Herdman coming in, which thanks to Jose, October 1st, we know he will be there. So the real question mark Toronto has to ask themselves as they're going towards the end of the season, obviously playoffs are out of the picture. What do you have? What pieces are you going to take into next year? And most importantly, are you willing to continue paying Insigne and Bernadeschi? I'm sure there's a Saudi Arabian club out there that are willing to take those contracts off your books. I don't think that's too much of a problem. But do you want to continue with those guys? And also, next time you're building a team, maybe using transfer market is just not the best option. Just a little bit of a word of advice. I'm a guy with a microphone behind a YouTube channel. So maybe I'm not the best qualified guy to build an MLS roster, but I don't know. I just think that if I were to build an MLS roster, I wouldn't be using transfer market. That's just me. But again, guy with the mic and a cold glass of water. And yes, I did say water. I did say water. Oh man. All right. Did I miss any comments here? I don't want to miss any comments here. Jose, my man Jose. I appreciate you, Jose. They are killing it over there across the pitch. All right. Let's real quick shift over to the Diamond. What a game last night. Phillies win 6-4. And really last night, I mean, number one, it was just vibes. Like straight up vibes all throughout South Philly. You see Bryce Harper hitting the home run, right? That tied the score up 3-3. And the camera gives you the view of Bryce Harper rounding first as he's going into second. And then behind Bryce Harper, what do you see? The sea of red and blue. All these fans on a Monday night game. These guys crowded into Citizens Bank Park. And it was a great atmosphere. 42,901 people on a Monday night. Fills. That's incredible. And that goes to show you this team is gaining the belief of the city. Dude, on a Monday night to get 42,000, that's really hard to do. And these guys, and like, kudos to LA, to the Angels. They came in, they were looking to get a win, right? And they had a little bit of a lead. It was like a 3-1 lead at one point. And then the Phillies just kind of ran away with it. And they did score 6. It was a 2-run win. You know, it's not nothing crazy. But it's the way that after the third run for the Angels, the Phillies just took over the damn game. Trey Turner hits 2 home runs. And by the way, I want people to look at this Trey Turner situation And I want people to look, when they think about a Philly sports fan next time, they look at that Trey Turner situation. Because if you look at what this city did, we said let's not boo him. We know he sucks right now. We know he's been struggling. But for once in our lives, let's not boo him. Okay? Let's actually do something different. Let's cheer him on. This man is clearly struggling. This man is clearly in his own head. So why are we going to do the same thing? I said it. I said it on that Monday after that series. Dude, Philadelphia, you guys have evolved. And the thing is that this city slowly has been doing this. Like, Ben Simmons was obviously the clear one before that who struggled. And we backed Ben Simmons up, man. Now, we didn't do that for Nelson Aguilar. I'm just going to say that. Instead, we got one of the best memes of all time. Unlike Aguilar. That was fun, man. That was a lot of fun, dude. But yes, it is interesting to say the least what has been going on in Philadelphia with this baseball team. They're hitting. They're hitting, and the pitching has been solid. Now, Taijuan Walker wasn't incredible yesterday, but I would say he was solid last night. 5 2/3. He allowed 8 hits, 3 earned. With Taijuan, you kind of know what he is. He's going to fight, and he did fight yesterday. He did allow those 3 runs, and he did bounce back. And I thought he had a solid start to end it. You know what you're going to get in Taijuan Walker. There are concerning things. I think that one thing that we all need to be on agreement or have the understanding is that there are concerns with Taijuan Walker, for sure. But I think that at the end of the day, what you're asking from this guy is to give you a solid outing of 6-inning outing in the playoffs. I don't think that's not a hard to ask for Taijuan Walker. This man's averaging around 5 innings a game. He obviously, he pitches for contact, and he relies on his defense. There's nothing wrong with that. But I do feel comfortable with Taijuan as my 4th starter after Ranger Suarez. And obviously, we need to wait for Ranger to come back from IL, so we can go back to the 6-man rotation. That can that can give extra rest for these guys. But everything about this baseball team is just putting a big smile on my face. Now, if we could do a little standing ovation for JT Realmuto and get him back, that'd be really nice. We obviously can't do that, man, but it would be nice. It would be nice to say the least. But game number dois cafés for all my Portuguese speakers. That's 2 coffees, by the way, if you're wondering. Game number 2 is today at 6:40, and again, skies are still gray. I'm just saying skies are still gray here. But Michael Lorenzo will go up against Tyler Anderson here today. And we'll see if the Phillies are currently on a 4-game winning streak. They currently have won, what was it? What did I get? 8 out of their last 10 games. So a solid 10-game span here for the Phillies. Still some solid tickets, $25 tickets I'm seeing in here, as low as, that's crazy. I used to be able to get tickets for like $10 right before game time, man. Times have definitely changed here. So we shall see what happens. What's up, Jason? What's going on, brother? What you got going on, Jason? What do you got to say here, man? What's up, Raynell? Raynell's in here as well. What's going on, brother? Hope you're having a great one. All right. Before we do sign off here, let's go back here. All right, let's refresh. By the way, Derek Barnett is not actively being traded. The Eagles do plan on having him play a significant amount of snaps this year as a backup, as a rotation guy. But if the offers are good, I mean, you're obviously going to do it, man. You're obviously going to do it, man. Okay. This is interesting. I'll bring this up here. So here's the question. I kind of want to ask you guys as well. So this is a quote tweet from A.J. Brown to Darius Slay. Darius Slay says, corner is way harder than wide receiver. And then A.J. Brown says, I strongly disagree. Huh. No, legitimately, let's look at this real quick. What do you think is harder to play? wide receiver or cornerback? I mean, obviously both are hard to play. I'm being honest with you guys. I think it's harder to play corner because typically these dudes aren't the most, you know, athletically gifted, and by what I mean by that is catching. Most of these guys don't have the best hands, so they play corner. You know, you've heard that cliche before. But you in this day and age of NFL and just football in general, where the rules are catered towards the defense or to the offense, I apologize. Rules are catered to the offense. As a defensive player, dude, you got to be on your toes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be able uh, to guard these fucking ridiculously athletic wide receivers. So I'm gonna go corner. I'm gonna go corner on that one. But that is interesting. Certainly interesting to say the least here. All right, let's see if we have any other news of note. I probably should refresh this as well. So I want to make sure we don't have any. We have about half an hour left until roster cuts are finalized here in the NFL. Make sure you guys check out Flipping the Bird tonight, 8 p.m. for the roster cut episode over at Philly Sports Network. Yeah, I mean, listen, Greg Ward being cut, I feel like he'll be back. I'll be honest with you guys. I think he'll be back. And yeah, obviously the question as well is who's going to punt, who's going to return, and I get that for sure. But I also do believe that there will be a competition. There are obviously options out there, and so there's going to be open tryouts. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that, to say the least here. All right, it doesn't look like we have anything left here. So anything else, I will talk about it on TikTok now. So make sure you guys are following here on TikTok. But it should be interesting. Real quick, let me just make sure. Obviously, it's the off season, but let me make sure there's nothing here with the Sixers and with the Flyers. Oh, wait, what? Wait. There's no way this is true, man. There's no way. Okay, so apparently, so this is from Philly Take with RB. I mean, I don't know if I believe this, but apparently Ben Simmons would welcome a return back to Philly. I had a lot of fun there. It was time for me to go. When I did leave, it was good timing. Obviously, the injury and everything that was going on didn't help, but I think it gave me a chance to really appreciate it. I've always had a lot of a lot of love for Philly. People always ask me if you were to get traded again, where you want it to be. I always say just Philly. Philly's a second home to me. And in time, you will learn and grow as people. I don't really have anything bad to say about Philly. It was a crazy situation at the end, but it was what it was. Dude, why are you capping, man? This dude goes, trade Harden for Ben. Could you imagine that shit? We just trade back with each other. Oh my god. I really don't buy that, man. I mean, I don't think it, I mean, obviously don't think it would happen, but the fact that he would want to come back here, it is truly interesting, man. And I did see today he put out another workout video. He's shooting the ball again. Like it's no surprise there. It's so crazy, man. All right, yeah, for sure. Sean Bernard on it again, man. Make sure you guys follow Sean Bernard on that one, man. Nah, it is interesting to say the least here. I mean, with the Sixers, I mean, it's really I'm just really I just really want to see what this roster gonna look like, honestly. Oh yeah, we got new, not really new, but we got an update look on our uniforms here. And I mean, if you guys can point it out, you let me know. Don't well, okay. Well, RB kind of says it here, so I guess I can't have you guys guess. But yeah, so the main thing with the new uniforms is that there is a clear emphasis in the red. There is a lot more red in the Sixers uniform. I'm going to pull up a picture of the old Sixers uniform to kind of look at the difference here. Go to images. Okay, I guess I kind of see it. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get. Here we go. Okay, so this is probably the best look here. So, I mean, it's honestly not too much. So this is what the new ones will look like. It's really just a little bit more red. Let me see. Pull it up. All right, so here is what they have looked like. So as you can tell, there's just more height in red throughout the numbers. It's something slight. I do feel like we could use some new uniforms. I'll be honest with you guys. Obviously, like the uniforms we have now is like a staple look because we've always had the stars on the side. But I definitely could feel like there is could be more, man. There could be more. Uh, I mean, Jason. So if you're talking about the Ben Simmons thing, let me see. So RB talked to RB take RB Philly take. He's a really well known Sixers creator. He put it out here. Let me see where the source of this article is. This is from Mark J. Spears. Mark J. Spears is the one that put that out there, but I don't know, man. It definitely sucks to be a Sixers fan these days, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Anything with the Flyers? Anything? I will sign off. Kind of had to rush this one here because wanted to make sure Mike got in here on time. Listen, we all got day jobs, guys. You know, if we're not putting out content all the time, it's because we got day jobs. Sometimes we got to rush. Nothing really here with the Philadelphia Flyers. Interesting stuff, man. If you're gonna change it more. Okay, that's very valid. That's very valid. What color? What would be the main color of the Sixers if you could choose, man? Guaranteed by the end of the year he goes to Saudi Arabia. Are you talking about? Yeah, I think Lorenzo and Bernardeschi will both be shipped off to Saudi Arabia. If I'm being honest, I think those guys will be wanting to pay. And I just think that Toronto needs to get out of that situation, man. Parcero, we are free. No more Sipos. Why'd you hate Sipos? What's Sipos do? Also, does Sermon gone mean how he's closing in on a JT trade? No. That doesn't mean that. I mean, if Sermon were to stay, the likelihood of Jonathan Taylor would be higher because you would throw Trey Sermon in that type of trade. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, we'll definitely see. Sermon gave it an effort. We talked about that. I thought he gave it an effort, but he's just not better at what we have here on the roster, right? So, okay. The infinity symbol says Trey Sermon was a bad cut. Why is that? Why is he a bad cut? Who would you have kept over Trey Sermon? I'm intrigued. I'm genuinely intrigued. What do you think of the late Trey Lance going to the Cowboys? Think he will start? We actually talked about that yesterday. I mean, yeah. I think that what it means is that Dak Prescott is on a shorter leash this year for once. If you're a Cowboys fan, you should be happy about that. But yeah, if Dak starts throwing terrible interceptions again, then yeah, Trey Lance is gonna take that job, my G. So it's up to Dak to get his crap together, man. And we'll see, but we shall see. I personally believe that the blue should stay on as the main jersey for the Sixers color. Black should be brought back as an alternate. Please do not give me that Ben Simmons black, man. I really don't want to see that black again, man. That was a terrible look. Infinity symbol's not giving us an option here. Who would you have kept if you did not like Trey Sermon being cut? Who would you have kept? Who would you have kept him over? But I'll be honest with you. I'm not keeping him over Boston or Gainwell. If I'm being honest. So, but that's going to do it for today's episode of Citywide Special. I appreciate everyone tuning on in. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. And a reminder, yes, tomorrow is Wednesday night. No, you're not doing that, bro. Do you know how much you paid Rashad Penny? And Rashad Penny's better than Trey Sermon. That's a fact. Jason, you don't have to apologize, man. I appreciate any second you watch, any like, any share. I appreciate that 1,000%. Everyone's got their lives, everyone's got their busy schedules, and I completely get that, man. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe for more Philly sports. We'll back at it again tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun one for Hump Day. Talk to you guys soon. Let's go.